Hey Tribe, it's Steph, and today we're talking about our movement of the month, which is deadlift. So deadlift has become one of my favorite movements because not only is it super functional, shows up all the time in everyday life, but there's a lot of different variations that we can play with when we're using different tools to get a hinge movement, which is what a deadlift is. So deadlifts can be confusing a lot of times. People maybe haven't done them correctly in the past and they don't like them because they feel a lot of pain in their low back, or maybe they get a little bit confused between the difference of a squat and a deadlift. So we're going to talk about some things and how to tell the difference, what muscles you're activating, and some different variations with deadlift. So ultimately, deadlift is a hinge movement, okay? So to explain it, I always say put your hands in your hips and you're just hinging forward and back, right? So hinging from the hips. Now when you do this, notice that I still have a bend in my knees, right? So I'm not hinging with legs straight, otherwise I'm gonna feel all of that in either behind my knees or my low back. I'm still bending the knees, but it's just not as much as a squat. A squat movement, I'm really bending the knees, going down and up, keeping the chest up. Hinge, I'm softening the knees, but I'm mostly just moving from the hips. So muscles activated during the deadlift, obviously we have our hamstrings, we have our hips, a lot of core, front and back engaging as well, and basically our entire posterior chain. So everything running all the way up the back body. So because this is a complex movement, we're actually getting a lot of core out of deadlifts just as much as we are lower body. So a traditional deadlift you'd probably see with a barbell, so both hands on a barbell, and you're squatting down, hinging, driving up from the ground, okay? So this variation might feel a little bit more, I'll say squatty, than just a hinge, right? Because you have to actually get down to the ground to pick up the barbell that you're using. Therefore, to make sure you're not dumping or using just your low back, you might get a little bit lower, okay? So for our purposes at the studio though, we're rarely using a barbell to deadlift just because we don't have barbells for everyone. So we're using either kettlebells or torpedoes or some other variations, maybe some dumbbells and maybe no weight as well. So looking at this movement, let's say we're using a kettlebell. So we are going down to the ground as well. It's going to be a little bit different grip, obviously, than a barbell, either over or under. For this, we have both hands drawing the shoulders back. Biggest thing we want to make sure we do is one, not straighten the legs, otherwise we're going to feel it all in the low back. And then also make sure that we're not rounding the shoulders. So I see this a lot as well. Draw the shoulders back, keep a neutral neck, neutral spine. Bend the knees softly, so you're not in a full squat here, but you are bending down, and then you're just driving the hips up and rolling the shoulders back. So you want to follow through with this movement so that you're not just coming up halfway. You want to squeeze the glutes at the top, following through the hips and engaging the core. Inhale as you prepare, exhale as you drive up. Now this is if you are coming from the ground. What's the difference between not coming from the ground? Let's say you're starting the torpedo. I'm not probably going to pick the torpedo up from the ground, so it's going to be a lot lower. I could, but in this instance, I'm probably going to start at the top of that movement, hinge from the hips, and go down, right? So notice how this is less squatting and more hinging, okay? So a little bit different, a lot of variations here. We can put this together, maybe with a clean and a press. Or maybe we're doing a split stance, stepping one leg back. Now I'm isolating that front leg, same idea, coming down. And notice I'm not going all the way to the ground. Because what happens, a lot of times when I'm here and I go all the way down, I end up rounding my back and straightening my leg. So instead of going all the way to the ground, which just really isn't necessary in this position, I'm going to go about halfway. Really start to feel this in that front leg that I'm isolating. Same idea, if we're adding a little balance, maybe we do a single leg deadlift. I love this one, and you'll see this one show up a lot in, let's say, yoga, when we're doing our Warrior 3 movement. Really good focus here. straight leg, but that actually locks out the muscles from engaging and puts all the pressure in the back of the knee. So if I soften the knee, it's actually going to be harder because I'm activating my muscles, but it's going to help me strengthen a lot more. Another time we see a hinge movement show up in yoga is our half forward fold, or half looked, the thing that you want to call here, that we move into before, let's say we step back to down dog, or maybe we do this roll up, inhale, exhale. This is a hinge movement, right? Soft bend in the knees, looking out. So instead of being here, which I can feel completely in my low back, completely in my knees, come up, roll the spine back, soften the knees. Now I have muscular engagement. So there's a ton of variations you can do for deadlift. You could do a single hand with a torpedo, with a kettlebell. Maybe I want to do a little bit heavier weight, and I could do a regular deadlift here with a torpedo. Maybe add a little clean, a little pressing. So there's a lot of options of things you can add in with a deadlift movement. So you're going to see a lot of those show up in classes this month. So let me know if you have any questions, or ask our instructors if you're not sure if you're doing your deadlift correctly, or you want some help working on those variations. Let us know, and we are here to help you.